Welcome to Mindset Revolution with Raquel. This is episode 7. I'm giving you a snippet of this amazing conversation we had with someone who joined Erica's Clubhouse room, Love and Ascension, where I was again having the privilege of being a guest on there. And there was a young lady named Venus, and she asked a really great question, which I believe you will also like to hear how we answer this. Enjoy.
Hi, Venus. You can join us. Hi, hello. Welcome.
Hi. So I just had some questions because I had saw the title of the room and I've seen like I hope I'm on topic. Like I hope this is what like you guys are familiar with, but I have been I've been basically I've heard of manifestation for about 2 years and have been like trying like the first thing the one of the first things that I was hearing was like, ignore the 3D and stuff. And so when I saw the title of the room, I was curious to know like maybe how could I really like not like how could I manifest without having to feel pressured to ignore the 3D and stuff, because I want to manifest like, a new appearance and a new living situation and a partner and all that stuff. And I was just wondering like how could I really I haven't been here the whole time you guys have been talking, so I don't know if you guys covered this, but I was just wondering, like where could I begin on like really like calling in the manifestations, because again I've been trying for 2 years. And I mean I do have like I'm trying to work on the doubtful thoughts, but I really do want to, start calling in the things that I really do want to manifest.
Well, I'm so glad you asked that question. That is my wheelhouse. It's Erica's as well. We kind of touched on it, and I had some notes to kind of go in that direction. But it's a couple of layered things. So when we're ignoring the 3D, um, that is something that we're not taught. So it's something that you have to work on a daily basis. And by that, it's like right now I even have a note on my vision board, and it says a couple things. Do not be moved by what you see. That's what ignoring the 3D means. Look at the end result. Act like God. And so because I'm a Jesus freak, I take it from that view, which is in Romans 4. So part of it is understanding that we are made in the image and likeness of the creator. And then, like, okay, how does the creator create? Well, in my worldview, he created by first speaking. And so it's speaking with intention, understanding that it's not thoughts that becomes things, it's thoughts internalize, materialize. Because you can have a thought come at you from external, internal, and then as a free will, moral agent, you get to decide, do I entertain that thought or not? So thoughts are seeds. Everything we have is in seed form. And so you can decide, am I going to take that thought or am I going to release it and be like, nope, and not let it go into your soul realm, which is your mind, will, and emotions. So there's this multi-layer thing where, okay, what are you doing to empower your soul? Your soul is your 4D. We're told in the good book, you will prosper and be in health as your soul prospers. It's a perfect equation. So if you are purposely, it doesn't really take that long, but if you set some time every day, sometimes that's why people do it in meditation or they do it in prayer or they do it in positive affirmations. Whatever vehicle you use, hypnosis, self hypnosis, listening to music even helps with that. That you take some time to purposely feed your soul, your mind. If people always want to in these spaces, they're like, oh, well, ignore the 3D and just go, manifest it through your emotions. That's the hard way. If you do it the easy way, the way you're actually built, feed your mind first. And then what happens organically as you are feeding your mind and keeping your mind right, making sure that you're feeding your eye gate and your ear gate, right? So if you If you're trying to manifest things, it's been a couple years and you're frustrated, start with what you're feeding your soul, right? It's soul food. What are you feeding yourself? What are you allowing to come in through your eye gate and your ear gate? Start to audit that and be purposeful. Even if you start doing it for a couple of days, you're gonna like, wow, that's some I love that person, or I love that creator, or I love that entertainer, but you know what? That is not the kind of life that I want to live, you know? You'll be surprised how many people who are in our tribe, in our circle of influence, in our feeds, who once we start to really audit, do I really want that in my space? That you'll start to actually come away. And in the tarot is called, the hermit. You're starting to like pull away from things because you're starting to recognize that, not that they're not bad people at all. They're good people, but they don't have the mindset of where you want to go. There is a lot of hustle culture, but the problem with hustle is what you hustle to get, you're going to have to hustle to keep. How you get something is how you're going to have to keep it. And so hustle culture is very prevalent, but it doesn't really work. And people are miserable. And you know it because they have all this stuff. And then they're always complaining about their job. Or they finally get somebody to be with and they're complaining about the person, right? So understanding that, one, you need that your thoughts do not become things. Thoughts internalize, materialize. So start to audit your thoughts. In fact, that's like a fast. It's like a fast of thinking. If you do that for 3 days, catch all your thoughts, start writing them down, and you'll be like, wow, that is not, where did that come from? Then asking the questions, where did that come from? Do I actually believe that? I can rewire that. I can reframe that. So that's the first thing about your thoughts. Secondly, start to purposely feed your soul like you're doing here. This is part of your soul food right here, feeding yourself and starting to really seek out people who are moving in the direction that you want to go, or who have already been there. Like Erica and I, we have a lot of free things. Like this is a free event. Other free resources, or other resources that we have, that you can connect with other communities that are really manifesting things in the way that you want to as well. So that's important. um, Feeding your soul. The third one again is the community, because you become who you're hanging out with a lot. Even if people who are introverted through the realm of entertainment, you know, through videos, social media, books. And so they're like, well, I don't really hang around a lot of people. But who are the people that are showing up in your imagination space? So that's a couple things. The reason they say to ignore the 3D is because the 3D is past tense. So in quantum physics, it's called collapsing the waves. Everything is waves, which is what we call here frequency. And at some point, there's waves that accumulate and then it collapses. So everything you can't see, and I was going to talk about this because when Erica was talking about fracturing, there is in quantum physics that we're blinking in and out of time. Like, where do we go when we blink out? That could be the fracturing. We're showing up in different places. And so when you are looking at the 3D, everything you see is temporary. The things of the spirit are not, they're eternal. And so that's why you can ignore the 3D, but it's hard because we're 3D beings and everything's in front of you. And let's say you're sick and you're believing for healing and you're trying to manifest your wholeness, and your body's saying, "No, you're a liar. I'm sick." And so that's why we have to audit our thoughts and be mindful of who we're around, because there's a verse that says, "Let the weak say I'm strong." Is the weak strong at that moment? No. But because we're created like the creator to speak things into existence, we need to speak into the reality that we want, because words are containers of power. And so this is why we need to feed our mind right, feed our soul right, be around the right community. And then constantly, because we're not groomed to do this, it feels unnatural and we feel like we're lying. this is why affirmations are so good, is that we need to speak those things into existence and understand that we have been given the divine right to do so. The thing is, we already do this. We just do it by default, not by design. And because the seeds of our words, some of them take a long time to boomerang back, we don't make the connection. So when we're looking at the outside, another misnomer is that people say everything that happens to you on the outside, you manifested. No, more like 80/20 rule, because other people have free will as well, and they can come into your life to bless you, to jack things up. that, that's their God given right to do, to come into interplay with your universe. But a lot of it, what happens, it's happening on the outside, is a reflection, and the reflection is your own internal belief systems and how you identify yourself in it. So there's two areas. There's your subconscious and your heart space. And your heart space is your identity center, and that's where you have your limitations and your boundaries, the issues of your life. But then you have your subconscious, and your subconscious runs a lot of your automatic decisions. And so when you are doing your soul food, I know I'm saying a lot, so you can come back and I'll have Erica jump in, or you can come jump back in, Venus, because I'm giving you a lot, and the replay is going to be here, so you can you can reach out to me, and be like, can you explain that to me a little bit more?
No,
But
it's
the
okay. I'm taking some notes along while you're talking.
yeah, so as you are, this is why people so self sabotage, is because they're so focused on the subconscious, which is a good thing. But what the information out there is not incorrect, is incomplete. You have to be able to identify with it, right? Put yourself in that identity. And you probably know people like that, where like they see themselves less than who you know that they can be. You see them greater than they are. Or they see themselves as, a certain group in society that's disenfranchised. And so everything in their conversation is around why they're not successful and why they can't be abundant and why the whole world is against them because of this label. And so those labels are in your heart space. So it really doesn't matter how much subconscious work you do. If you're identifying with something inside of you in your heart space that is not the original design from the creator, you will automatically move toward the things that make that true, because that's what your subconscious does. That's your partner. It doesn't care. Your brain doesn't care if you're happy. It only wants you safe, and it wants to make you right. So that's why there's a quote, right? If you believe you can, you will, and if you believe you can't, you're right. Because your brain will self-sabotage you. Because if inside you, that's where imposter syndrome comes from too. If inside you feel like you don't deserve it, like all these other things are, because of, and I'm Latina, single mom, right? And so those two things, and a woman. So those three things, people will see me as disenfranchised. But I don't see myself as disenfranchised, even though other people want to put that label on me, because I know I'm a daughter of the creator. So the creator did not make a mistake when he made me a female, when he, you know, um, gave me the opportunity to be a mom, and I have three miracle children. And, things happen, and I became a single mom. That wasn't the plan, but there it was. And he knew what he was doing when he made me Latin. You know, I don't see those things as this. That's part of my superpower because of the experiences that I've been able to have. Because of it, it makes my life more richer, and I'm able to speak at different demographics because of it. So I don't see myself as disenfranchised, but someone else who's been through some of the things that I've been through would. They would see it as though all these things are stacked up against me. And that's part of not looking at the 3D, because it doesn't matter what's stacked up against you. If you and the creator are on the same page, you're the majority, and majority rules. But see, all this stuff comes with time, practice, and relationship. The more you're able to understand yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, give yourself some grace. Start to find out, like, what are your personality gift clusters? How do you leverage them? What are the things that really make you unique? Because everybody has this beautiful uniqueness in them. What is that talent that you can leverage? Then you start to really fall in love with the person of you, and then it's easier to fall in love with people around you and life itself. And there's like so many exciting things to do on this planet, and there's so many exciting places to be. And like, I've never met Erica in person, but oh my gosh, the day I meet her, she's better have like, muscles on her legs and her feet, because I'm gonna like come running to her and knocking her down with a huge hug. Where you're able to meet these amazing people and have these like such great connections, where you feel like, oh my God, there's like my sister, that's my cousin. She's my cousin that's not related. So think about those things, right? You want to think about how where your thoughts are coming from. Start to do an audit. What are you feeding your soul with? Start to check out your community. And I'm never an advocate of, there's this saying of, the phrase, I hate the phrase so much that I've even forgotten it at this point. But the gist of it is that if you're not serving me, then basically I'm kicking you out of my life. I don't have any time for you. In which case, again, that's part of the spiritual misnomers, because it's like, who are we to kick other people out of our lives? Maybe we need to be the light in their life. Now, there is a thing about having healthy boundaries, right, where you can't have people disrespecting you or anything like that. But some people get into this thing of, if you're not adding any value into my life, as in you're not giving me something, then I don't need you in my life. Well, if it's better to give than it is to receive, then you're on the wrong side of the equation in that ideology. I think I've said enough, a lot of things. But Erica, do you want to jump in?
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to talk about this topic because my guide is saying, you know, when people or being happen to be come from a lower dimension, in general, right? They do have a very strong opinions, right? It's just my truth is only truth. And then when we get to higher dimensions, we started to accepting all sort of different ideas, beliefs, values, different beings, anything different, because we are, I guess, higher dimension we get, we become closer and closer to creator, because creator accept everything, because everything is his children or its children. But my point is, my guide is saying, why don't you just be sommelier? Means when you encounter something, someone, whatever the opinion, you don't have to take everything as a grain of salt. So we can pick, we can always find some positive thing about anybody, you know, if we try hard enough. Even we think like, oh, this organization is super evil, but can you find at least one thing, one positive thing about them, right? I don't like Facebook, you know, I really don't. But if I have to find a positive thing about Facebook, um, when it comes to real estate, when you want to look for the client who is looking for real estate, it's the best place to find the people who are looking for the real estate, for example. So even though you call them as an evil empire, they are serving some sort of positive aspect. So even like what you so call horrible or dark or whatever, you can always find something positive, or at least even it's so hard to find their positivity, they become a teacher what's not to be, what not to do, like them, right? So that's the example they can serve. um, when it comes to manifestation, when we want something really, really, really badly, this is time when we get really scared, you know, like when we started looking at outside and oh, did I step into horrible lower timeline because it doesn't seems to be manifesting right now, for example. When we release the importance, this has to manifest right now. The other day I was watching TikTok, and then this lady was talking about this jacket from Costco. It's like really warm, and then it's water resistant, and it's amazing, like best thing ever. And she was saying, oh, it came back. So I was like, wow, I want this. I wish someone gonna give it to me, because I'm not a Costco member. And then what happened was my friend happened to buy the similar stuff from Costco, or almost identical, and then with my size. So I got it like last week. But I was thinking, oh, I wish I can have it, but like I wasn't really, really strongly like wishing or try to manifest or using my technique or anything, right? So one of the manifesting tool you can use is I wish I want this and that and let it go. Or this is what I do every morning. You make a mind movie, means all this collage of video, like a minute's video or something with editing software, and then you watch it just after you wake up. So you can program your subconscious mind, because I'm kind of visual. Or let's say when you are very like left brain kind of person, which I happen to be before awakening, you tend to trust the facts and data and everything. Or someone who seems to have a more authority or credibility, and they tell you this is this, right, this is a fact. And then it's very hard for you to say whatever, right? When that happens to you, and then that opinion happen to be negative, let's say, you could say that might be true, but anything is possible. So when you add anything possible, then you open up other possibilities. You open up other possibility for universe to work on manifestation for you, besides whatever the stuff you presented. So we can pick and choose what we resonate, or we don't have to blindly believe. As a creator, we can create anything, everything we want, but we do get influence from outside. But we don't have to believe in or take everything like people who do have a strong opinion, like from A to Z. We can just pick one or two, like whatever the stuff you thought, oh, this kind of makes sense. You can take one or two, or you say, okay, thank you for sharing your opinion. You don't have to know of it. You don't have to take note of it. So that's something they kind of told me, that it's not about manifestation technique. It's more like how can you be a teacher or someone who share with people, what kind of attitude you can have when you encounter with someone or some organization or some being do have a very strong opinion, like this is only truth. So you can be more fluid and open-minded toward these people.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to give me the information that you guys did.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for listening as well. And if you're interested in listening to the entire podcast, you can go ahead on Clubhouse and look for Erica's Love and Ascension Room. I will go ahead and put the details on how you can also reach out to her if you want to directly reach out to her as well. And as always, it's been a pleasure serving you in this way. Let me know if there's anything that you want me specifically to cover, because this is curated based on what you want to listen to. Until next time.